So this is my Zora Neale Hurston documentary. How do I get to the next slide? Oh, what? Okay. So Zora Neale Hurston was an American author, an anthropologist, and a filmmaker. She portrayed racial struggles in the early 1900s American South. Um, she published the work of art that we're studying now, which is Sweat. Fun fact: she's actually buried here in Fort Pierce. So if you want to visit her, you can do that. I think that's pretty dope. I'm gonna visit her this weekend actually. Um, it's not funny. So through the Harlem Renaissance and her writing, Hurston speaks of her emotions and experiences through the stories she shares to her readers. Um, in a way, you can, how do I put it? In a way, you can understand what she's experienced as like in her own personal life through her writing, and it's easy or not really easy, but like, readers can pick that up. You know what I'm saying? Um, like she kind of speaks through her experiences through her characters. Um, I wrote about Zora Neale Hurston reflecting on social conditions in the early 1900s in order to understand her writing because, um, well, a little bit of a context is that so there was a lot of racial injustice in the early 1900s. A lot of African Americans were still being poorly treated despite being freed from their from the past of them being slaves and all. And so yeah, they were still poorly treated, segregated, and all that. And I think it's really, I think it was really important, really impactful that Hurston was able to um, write and portray her thoughts and emotions and still get that out into the world and still have that famous work out and about where others can read despite her race or whatever. And I think it is important because like so many setbacks and she was able to do that. I think that's pretty cool. Um, so Zora Neale Hurston's novel Sweat uh, was was written, and from what I got from it, I got the how do I put it, like the mistreatment of women, despite so much that they do for us all, and I think she was probably writing about some experiences that she's had about, you know, some misadvantages that she's had just because she's a woman, you know, and basically I was writing to understand how Hurston's text reflects response to and comments on the topic of social injustice and injustice because she's a woman, to explain that the issue is significant because, like I said, she's a woman and she's African American, so that already a lot of people begin to assume things and just hold that against them in a way, like try to stop them from succeeding, especially back in the early 1900s, because there's, like I said, there was already segregation, and it was it was hard, and that's why I think the Harlem Renaissance was really important because it gave a lot of African American writers, song writers, artists. It gave them like sort of a platform to give out their works of art for the world to understand and respect and enjoy. You know, because we're still learning about her writing, which is really important because it is very impactful. And I think it's important that we keep learning about stuff, especially about our history, so that way we can learn and make sure we don't repeat it and like learn and understand what they went through and sort of in a way respect them for that. And like I said, it was a significant issue because of the social conditions for African Americans, leading many to reflect on their emotions through the Harlem Renaissance. I'm just highlighting what I just said. a lot of artists, a lot of songwriters, musicians, painters, they would express how they felt, their experiences through their works of art. You know, I just think that's really important, and I'm glad that they wrote it down. Otherwise, we wouldn't have, in a way, like firsthand experience with all this stuff that was going on. So it's important that we study this literature to get a better understanding of how life was back then and how people would handle those situations. And in my opinion, it's just really important. And that's it. Thank you for a wonderful year, and enjoy your summer.